Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, oh boy, do we have an episode here for you today, so you definitely don't want to miss out. Make sure you go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let me say this. I already know that this topic is going to spark a serious debate on our channel. Topics like this really get people's bloods boiling, and I totally love it because to me that's what sports is all about. That's what sports is all about. The most contentious debates on this channel we have noticed are centered on who's better than who. That is, you whenever you produce these type of Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, these type of videos, people have a lot to say. And whenever these arguments start and you start going through various comments that people leave, you will find people turning into statisticians. People will be writing books. Guys will bring up stats from this thing and that thing and that. Everybody has their own 2 cents that they want to add to it, right? And I think, I think that's great. Now, to be totally fair, before I even get into this topic here, I think that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Y'all know I'm a Kobe Bryant fan, right? Kobe is my dude. But I said it on numerous occasions that I think Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, and I think it's good that I say that from the onset. And most people, I believe, also feel that way, that Michael Jordan is the greatest player. However, there's one guy that feels differently, and that guy is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has a totally different take on the GOAT debate. Totally different take that we want to get into here. And we actually stumble upon this audio via bolavip.com, right? First time I heard about this website, and we stumbled upon it there. And we basically want to play some of the comments that Kyrie Irving had to make. I think he was playing on Twitch. I'm not even sure what that is. Some game, I don't know. So he was on there, and I think he was either talking to people or I don't know how it works. But anyway, he gave his opinion on who he thinks is the GOAT of basketball, and I think a lot of people are going to find what he had to say pretty interesting. So before we go too far, take a listen to some of the stuff that he has to say. He curses a bit, so we try to bleep it out, but take a listen to that here.
Attention to all that. People are going to talk anyway. Just be you. Don't take a back seat to anybody. Just be you. So I ended up seeing him in LA the night before the last game we played against him in LA. And we went out for a little while, and he gave me some extra motivation, man, in the most Kobe way. He was like, man, I think Golden State's definitely going to win a championship this year. Bro, can you imagine Kobe saying this, bro? This is like my hero, bro. He's like, yo, I think Golden State's really going to win a championship this year, bro. Bro, we had dinner, bro, and this dude says to me, man. I'm looking at this dude like, bro, what? Like, what? Bro, he not just There's no way he just said that to me. He was dead ass too, though. He said, nah, man, I think Golden State's gonna win this game. They're gonna win the championship this year, bro. And you know, man, you got a few responses that you could give back to just the greatest to play this game. You know what I mean? Hey, by the way, when I say the greatest to play this game, it doesn't mean I'm knocking anybody else. Let me finish my story, because you know how these people be wilding. All right, chill. The greatest to play this game to me. Talking about. I don't care about your stats. I don't care about all the greatest. I don't care. All right, greatest to play this game to me. All right, let me continue my story. Sorry, that's not Aries talking. So he says that to me, right? And I looked at him straight in his eye, and I said, no, they're not. What are you talking about? He said, nah, man, they got a really good team this year. I just feel like you guys match up well against them, but I just feel like they have a good chance. I said, they're not in this year. We're going to win. Like, we're going to win this. What are you talking about? We definitely match up.
Now, those were Kyrie Irving's thoughts on who he thinks is the greatest player of all time. Let's get into this topic here. I think that Kyrie Irving brings up a point that most people don't use whenever they're evaluating the greatest players of all time. And that argument, or that point that he brings up, is the point about the eye test, which is which one of these dudes could flat out play basketball? Like, let's remove the accomplishments, let's remove the stats, let's remove all the accolades, all of those stuff, and let's just talk about it from a straight up basketball standpoint. Like, if you drop these guys into an arena, right, the greatest players of all time, who's going to come out on top, right? Which basketball players could run the gauntlet and come out on top? Who could beat who? If it was a one-on-one game, one-on-one marathon, who would come out on top, right? Most people don't look at basketball from that standpoint, and I think that's why he said, "I don't care about your stats," and I think it's a good point that he brings up, and I'll tell you why. What I've learned is that smart people are good at using stats to tell whatever stories they want them, whatever stories they want people to understand, right? Stats can tell you all type of stories. That's why Kenny Smith said it on TNT, the famous line, there are 3 types of lies. They're lies, they're damn lies, and then they're stats, right? Because stats tell you some crazy stories. You just have to pick the right stats, and then all of a sudden you can create a narrative around that. So if we're evaluating players on simply what they could do as basketball players, then I understand where Kyrie is coming from. I have always said that Kobe Bryant was the best basketball player I have ever seen play. I have never seen anybody play live basketball that I could look at and say, okay, you know what? This dude may be just as good as Kobe or better. There's no one in the last 20 years. Now, I never got to see Michael Jordan in his prime. Right. I never got to see Jordan in his prime. I was born in 87. Now, some people say, man, I was 5 years old watching the finals. Well, if you were 5 years old or 6 years old, whatever the hell it was, and you remember what Jordan played like, kudos to you. I don't remember most of the stuff that happened when I was 5. So if you remember that, then you must be an elephant because you have some great memory. I don't remember that, right? And I don't even think watching a game at 5 years old, I would be able to evaluate it if I was watching it maybe as a teenager or a young adult. So for the people that saw Jordan and they were 5 years old, they're like, bro, what are you talking about? I was 3.5 and I saw Jordan play. All right, good for you, bro. If you remember it, great for you. I don't. So to me, however, I had to go back and look at highlights of Jordan, watch the last and all of these, and see all of those highlights put into content. And that's when I was like, okay, wait a minute. This guy's better than Kobe. But if we're talking about live, over the last 15 to 20 years, there hasn't been a basketball player that I've seen play basketball that I can say, you know what? That guy plays better basketball, is better at playing basketball than Kobe Bryant. This is just me. I've never seen the guy. I think Kobe was the most creative basketball player I have ever seen. Kobe, there was no shot that Kobe Bryant couldn't take or didn't have. There's no shot that I've seen a player take today that I'll be like, man, I've never seen, no, there's none. I've seen Kobe hit turnaround 3-pointers off the baseline, like all type of crazy shot. There was a shot that he hit on Dwayne Wade. He went into, it was like a modified post up. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Some people would know. A modified post up is basically when you're posting a guy, but you're not really posting him with your back. You're posting him. He had his left hand on the ball. He had a live dribble, and he was posting D Wade, and he went into his move, and he posted a dude up, turned, jumped up, modified his shot in the air, and as he was coming down, he banked the shot coming down, and he was playing in Miami. I have never seen anybody pull off a shot like that since then. Ain't nobody can pull in that. There's no basketball player I can think of right now in the NBA, probably with Kyrie, but if Kyrie had Kobe's athleticism, which he didn't have, then he'd be able to pull off that shot. There's been nobody. There ain't nobody. Ain't nobody. So to me, I think that the shots that Kobe Bryant was able to make, man, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And I think also the way your game looks matters. If you got an ugly game that nobody wants to look at, man, ain't nobody trying to be seeing some clanky, what RoboCop looking type of play that you got, some kind of weird shot that's off. It looks ugly. It goes in, but it's like, yo, bro, this is disgusting. Like, what are we looking at right now? I think that also matters. I think the way you play, and if it's visually appealing for people to watch, that should also matter. it should also matter because it's a spectator sport. You watch it. Us as fans are watching. And if the way you play is ugly, I think that should be held against you in the court of basketball. Now, some people would disagree, but to me, that's what I think. So here's my take on what Kyrie said. He thinks Kobe Bryant is the GOAT. He doesn't care about your stats or whatever you're going to bring. I don't think Kobe Bryant is the GOAT. I think he's right up there with Jordan. I think he's the third greatest player of all time, in my opinion, behind Jordan and Kareem. Some people feel otherwise. That's just me. That's taking into account his style points, the way he played, and also his accomplishments. So that's me. So the question is, what do you guys think, right? Does the beauty of the game matter? Because Jordan had a very beautiful game. Very, very beautiful to watch. Kobe Bryant has a beautiful game. Kawhi Leonard has a beautiful game, especially with his footwork and his fadeaways and all. Kyrie Irving has a beautiful game, and you just hear how NBA players are just basically, they're just fawning over the guy like, man, this guy's, he's incredible. I think that matters. So the question really, because that's all subjective, but the question really is this to you guys. Number one, what do you think? What do you think about what Kyrie Irving had to say, number one? Number two, who is the greatest player of all time to you, right? That's the second question. Question number three is, should flat out basketball skills matter the most, or is it about accomplishments, or is it about stats? Is it about stats and whatever metric you use to measure who the greatest player of all time is, leave it in the comment section because I cannot wait to hear what you guys got to say. Catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.